Okay.
Won't be loud.
I can call the Monday, May 9th, Lamar County School District Board meeting to order. And as always, we start our meetings with a prayer. That's Mr. Jim Braswell. Yes.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for being good to us. Thank you for your blessings. We ask you for wisdom tonight for all here and for all the board. Just guide us and direct us as we take care of the students that you've placed under us to manage, to equip. All these things we pray to you in Jesus' name, just as you ask. Amen.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you had a chance to pick up a copy of the agenda over here, you'll notice our second order of business is just talks about meeting procedures. I'm not going to read that whole thing. It basically just says that if you're going to speak before the board tonight, you have to have requested permission beforehand, and otherwise you won't be speaking. The next item of business is approval of the general agenda, either as presented or if we have any changes, anything.
I want to make a motion to approve it with some changes.
Okay.
We're going to pull item number 13 and item number 16B
So we're pulling 13 forever.
for next month.
Okay. So we're tabling that.
Tabling that, yeah.
Okay. And what else?
16B.
Okay.
I have a second for additional changes.
Okay, second. We have a motion, second.
I'd like to pull consent agenda L to separate the items of dress code and exemptions. So I make a motion that we vote those items separately and separate of the consent agenda.
Is it just L or is it?
It's L on the last page.
Yes. Okay. Pulling that for separate. So why don't we put that down under other? And we'll do that at the end of the consent agenda. Does that work? Or do we need to move it up and do it with the items that Ms. Pierce pulled? Nothing to do there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that down under other. All right, so we have a motion and a second with some changes to the agenda. Anything else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Now we have a swearing in of a new school board member.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Lance LaFan as the new representative for our District D. I'd ask his wife Carla, son Jacob, and Kerrigan's daughter Kerrigan to come up and join us for the swearing in. I'll send it away.
Hold your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lance LaFan,
I, Lance LaFan,
I do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States
that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi
and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi
and obey the law throughout.
and obey the law throughout.
That I am not disqualified from holding the office of Lamar County School District D.
That I am not disqualified for holding the
School Board District D,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office that I'm about to enter.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office I'm about to enter.
God so help me.
God so help me.
Well, he's taking care of that. Now, Ms. Jenny, you'd like to come, we'll do, what we're all here for is our recognition. And we want to thank you first before we get started with this, for everyone to coming out and giving us an opportunity to recognize your children for the accomplishments that they've had this school year. Some amazing things, and this is my favorite, and I know our school board's favorite opportunities that we've been able to come back and have these recognitions. So I just want to thank you all for coming and taking the time to come to our school board meeting. Once we finish these recognitions, if you would like to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. But if you would like to exit door left on your side, you feel free to if you'd like to. So, Ms. Jenny,
right.
so what we'll do is call you up and we'll take a quick picture, and that way we can have. And if
Go ahead.
parents, if you would like to walk up and get a picture with your child, that sort of thing, to feel free to. So.
All right, I'm excited to announce some elementary accomplishments of our students from Lumberton Elementary School. And this is for a perfect score on the MapQuestar test in 2021, last year at this time. And the students, most students in the district have finished up the 22 testing, but this is for last year. And this is for a perfect score on the 3rd grade English Language Arts test. We'd like to recognize Haston Campbell. William Kemp. William got a perfect score on the 3rd grade math. We're very proud of him.
Right here. Congratulations. That's yours. Take them with you.
Please give me for a second.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Gonna get this.
Hey, hold it.
Great. Also from Lumberton Elementary School with a perfect score on the 3rd grade math test is Colston Taylor.
Let's get it back around
Did you need a picture? Okay. Perfect score on the 4th grade English Language Arts from Lumberton Elementary School is Cameron May.
Look at Mama first. Mama's always most important. And one day when you go to college, make sure you call your mom. Congratulations. All right, I'll ask Dr. Gray, our Assistant Superintendent over our middle school and high schools, to come recognize. So, right here.
All right, good evening. So proud to stand before you tonight to recognize outstanding achievements for our secondary students and teachers. I'd like the board to know that these guys are making history, so we're very, very proud of the students that we're going to recognize tonight. All right, first I'd like to recognize our National Merit Finalists. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarships that began in 1955. Approximately 1.5 million high school students enter the program each year. Of these entrants, only 3% of students qualify for this recognition. We had 4 seniors from Oak Grove High School selected for this prestigious honor. Ms. Price, do you want to come?
Yes, please. Yes. Somebody else wants to take pictures.
First, we'd like to recognize Jonathan Bai.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Very proud of you. Thank you.
Hans Alassari.
How you doing, buddy? Congratulations.
Andrew Sell. Alex Yang. All right, we also like to recognize Jace Connell, who was selected as a National Merit semifinalist. Congratulations, Jace. All right, next we would like to recognize star students from Oak Grove High School. The Star Student Award is an honor sponsored by the Mississippi Economic Council, giving to seniors with the highest ACT score and a minimum average of 93. We'd also like to recognize those teachers who've been selected as star teachers. The star student designates his or her star teacher. In his or her opinion, this is the teacher who has made the greatest contribution to the student's scholastic achievement. So we'll call that student first, and then we'll recognize that student's star teacher. We'll start with Jonathan Bai.
Congratulations again. One more time. Gonna use the other one. Thank you. Stay right here.
All right, and Jonathan has named Whitney Necessary as his star teacher.
Stand right here.
All right, next, Jace Connell. And Jace has named Susie Welch as his star teacher.
We're just doing calculus homework.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations.
Hans Alassari. And Hans has named Mrs. Andrea Clark as his star teacher. Next, Susan Height. And Susan has named Janie Morrison as his star teacher. Next, Ayan Kamal.
Come on around it. Come on around.
Thank you. And Ayan has named Shane Cole as his star teacher.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we have Noah Williamson. All right, and Noah has named Christopher Thrash as his star teacher. And we have Alex Yang. And Alex has named Suzanne Allman as his star teacher. All right, next. Students from Oak Grove High School were also nominated for the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program. This program was established in 1964 by executive order to recognize some of our nation's most distinguished high school seniors. We would like to recognize the following students. First, Susan Height.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Hans Alassari.
Yeah. Same time, third verse. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Now we're good. And Ayan Kamal.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'd also like to recognize Alex Yang, who was not only nominated for the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program, but was selected as a semi-finalist.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're going to national.
Yes.
All right, next we would like to recognize Carson Goolsby. Carson served as the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America State Officer and was a National Committee member. Congratulations, Carson.
Ms. Miller.
Ms. Miller, did you want to go? Come on, Ms. Miller. Yes, she actually should be in the picture.
Okay, yes. I think.
All right, next we'd like to recognize Zachary Rifkin. Zachary was selected to serve on the State Superintendent's Student Advisory Council for the 2022-2023 school year. Congratulations, Zachary.
I'd like to add that he's one of 4 finalists in the state for a student representative for the state school board. So he's got an interview with the state school board to be a student representative, one of 4 in the state. So we can.
All right, next we'd like to recognize Autumn Zetto. Autumn was the recipient of the 2022 State Scholastic Art Gold and Silver Key Award. Her works will hang in the Mississippi Museum of Art. Congratulations, Autumn.
Should have been a high five.
Sorry about that, girl.
Get right in there, Dan.
All right, next we'd like to recognize Joshua Ellis. Joshua was named state champion in culinary math management. Congratulations, Joshua.
You want to keep going there? Okay, that's good. She can do that, right? Congratulations.
All right, we'd also like to recognize 2 teachers who earned National Board Certification from Oak Grove High School, Jennifer Kelly and Megan Medeiros. Congratulations. All right, next, congratulations to Coach Ashley Burdine and the Oak Grove High School cheerleaders who were named the 2022 UCA National Champions, and they're going to make their entrance.
Yeah, I'm not coming in first. I heard it. Just spread it out.
Do you like y'all doing for pictures? Like, car, stand up in the back, then squat, and then. There's her down. She'll get lost in the girl.
Either shorty pose, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you do, where we can see it. I'm getting back here. Oh, Ellis.
Thank you. Unless you want to do a cheer.
Bye, y'all be safe.
Not here.
All right, next, congratulations to Coach Casey Morrison and the Oak Grove High School Golden Spirits Dance Team. They were named the 2021 MHSAA State Jazz and Prom Champions. Ladies.
With those my hands.
Is this enough room for y'all's routine?
Oh, I'm trying to bring my music.
Excuses. Thank y'all. That's it.
Maybe that was the first time that they had won too, right?
Yes.
No, we've won two in 2016 and 2017.
Well, go ahead.
And then,
Congratulations.
good job, ladies.
All right, next we'd like to recognize Elena Donahue and her team. They were named the 2022 Archery 6A Ames Bullseye State Champions. Congratulations. All right, next we'd like to recognize Sarah Williamson, who received the 2022 Art Institute of Mississippi Award for the Arts, Education, in Dance. Congratulations. All right, congratulations to the following teachers: Robert Boswell, Vu Nguyen, and Christopher Thrash. They were named the 2022 Eat Sports State Champions. Congratulations.
Thank you. Awesome. I'll let y'all.
First year to be in the competition and they won.
Awesome. You have any students here that are?
Yeah, we have a few. Yeah, Noah's here, Susam is here.
They do.
Yeah, Mr. Bai back there.
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys want to stand up? Stand up
Stand
real
up
quick. Stand
on
up
that
real quick. Esports champ.
All right, next, congratulations to Suzanne Allman and the Oak Grove High School Theater Department, who were named the 2021-2022 State Champions, which is their 12th state championship.
Right.
They're going international.
All right, and Mr. Cole's not
He's
here,
not
right?
here.
All right, we'd like to recognize Mr. Shane Cole, who was named the Nfhs Speech, Debate, and Theater Educator of the Year for Mississippi and the Southeastern United States. Congratulations to the following students who made a perfect score on the English 2 state test. So the following students, please come forward. First of all, Mr. Aiden Borderline.
Yeah, stay up.
We'll do this.
We'll see how many are here.
Get mom, get a picture real quick. Just, right? Good. Just stay right here. And you'll.
All right, Emma Bruce.
Congratulations. All right, stand right here. We'll get a group of the whole, picture of the whole group, the cinemas that are over here.
There we go.
All right, Sydney Chambliss. Hannah Johnston. All right, Matthew Lee. Manning Littlejohn.
I'll take-
Peyton Wynn. Abigail Phelps. And Sadie Rosengrant.
Toss ones in the back, maybe.
That'll work, that'll work.
And one's back here. Just make sure you can see the camera, then it can see you.
Turn your certificates around.
Yes, that's helpful. All right.
Awesome.
Good job. Yeah.
All right, very proud of and a big congratulations to the following students who made a perfect score on the Algebra 1 state test. Ala Ayash. Terrence Baker.
That's right. We can.
Andre Hernandez. Madison Kay. Zoe Smith. Jackson Walters. Eden Williamson. And Tangare Z. Okay. All right, now finally, we'd like to recognize Shamuka Alta, who made a perfect score on both the Algebra 1 and Biology 1 state tests.
If you're taller, come back here with me. Is that too high? Is that good? We're getting it right? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, come on.
I'm a teacher, it's okay.
Good.
Good? All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. I got one. I got one more presentation I'd like to do. She doesn't know this is coming, but, April 24th to the 30th was Administrative Assistant and Board Clerks Week and Appreciation. So I'd like to ask Miss Lynn to come. She does a phenomenal job for us, and this whole district would not run properly without her. She does a phenomenal job of keeping us all in line, helping us do everything. She keeps me straight. And so if you really want to know who the real boss is, I'm handing her a certificate right now. That's it.
So you guys, this is one of our favorite nights. We love to hear all the recognitions and whatnot. It's always a big deal. Thank y'all for coming. It speaks to the strength of our district. And if y'all want to stay and listen to a really good board meeting, you're welcome to stay.
I've never been too easy.
She said she answered a lot.
Nice to meet y'all.
This is when we talk bad about stuff. My wife, she teaches at Pell. All right, next we got, I don't know, you're on the roll. Approval of the April 11th, 2022 board meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
And one abstention. So approval of the monthly financial report for March of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Approved, one abstention. All right. So now we want to approval to award bid from reverse auction for Chromebooks to CDW-G for $612,525.
So moved. Second.
Just making sure I didn't miss a comma.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Now we want approval to award bid from reverse auction for high quality instructional materials to, I can say that, Save Us Learning Company.
Yes.
For ELA 6 to 8, to the tune of $86,483.90. And Great Minds for Math K through 8 for $273,747.81.
So moved.
Second.
That's a lot of words. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now we have approval to reject a bid and rebid the parking lot project due to no qualifying bids.
So moved.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Approval to advertise for bids for paving, bids for seal coating, and bids for striping of parking lots.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that carries. Approval to hold a reverse auction for NDCC-junior ROTC supplies required to start the our new program.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that carries. And we did away with 13. So now we have the approval of the 2022-2023 board meeting schedule. And no, I did not walk out the dates to see if they worked my call schedule, but we'll make do.
We'll work around it too.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next, we have Board Attorney Matters, Mr. Rick Norton.
Just one item for tonight. First Baptist Church of Summerall has some property that they have told us they would sell to us if we were interested. 52 Water Street, 2 lots. I think we provided you with appraisals. State statute says we cannot pay more than the average of 2 appraisals. That average was $166,000. So the matter before the board is to decide if you want to purchase that property, and if so, motion for an option subject to the title search, purchase it for $166,000. Has a house on it, about a 2,000 square foot house, and there are 2 lots with it. Dr. Hampton can explain exactly where it is, and most of you know, but it's adjacent to Summerall High School.
It's right across from the ag building. We already own the house that's in front of this house. On this Laurel Street. This house is on the corner of Laurel and Water Street, and that would give us that full half of that block, that property for future expansions if needed, when the time comes.
I so moved.
I'll second.
So we have a motion to purchase this property and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Anything else, Mr. Norton?
That is all.
Next, we have some 16th section land manager matters. Mr. Harless. Second canceled B. You were outside. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
So we canceled B.
Or table it. Table it for next month.
All right. All right. The first item I have is to cancel lease number 474 for Dennis and Tiffany Davis.
So before we go on these, are you good,
Yes,
Mr. Superintendent, with A, C, D, E, F, and G?
it's all except for B.
Okay, all right.
So moved.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next, C.
Next item is to approve a new 40-year residential lease for Heather Socher.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous.
The next is to approve assignment of lease number 270, Kevin Nunn to Elena Harbor Purser.
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes.
Next item is to approve a new 40-year residential lease to John Williamson, Adriana Williamson, and Kathy Reeves.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Question.
Second for discussion.
Is the lease signed by all 3?
Yes, sir.
It is. Okay. So if one leaves, then the other 2 are responsible, or?
That's right.
legal question.
All of them would be jointly and severally liable for the lease.
Okay,
If one of them leaves, then we would come back to amend that.
okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes.
The next item I have is to approve a new 40-year residential lease to Lamar Rentals.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes.
All right, the last item I have is to open accept bids for a 16-acre agricultural lease in Baxterville.
We get one.
From Keith Bond, in the amount of $31 per acre for a total of $496.
So we need a motion to accept Mr. Bond's offer.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
That's all I got. Thank you.
All right, superintendent's report. Ms. T, would you like to start off with our
Okay.
academic?
Yes, the best part, the academic part. As you know, the past few meetings, we have been taking a look at standards by grade level. We've heard from kindergarten, first grade, well, pre-K, excuse me, can't forget pre-K. We start off with pre-K, kindergarten, first grade. And tonight, you're going to hear from our literacy coaches in the district that work with K through 3. And the reason for that is that Dr. Hampton is going to share some information with you in his superintendent's report regarding our 3rd grade summative assessment. And so we are combining 2nd and 3rd grade together. And so tonight I have our 3 district literacy coaches. We have Kristen Gilmer, Madeline Speed, and Jody Cranford. And like I said, they work with grades 3, kindergarten through 3rd grade. And the end goal is for us to have readers in the 3rd grade in order to pass the 3rd grade summative assessment. So I'm going to turn it over to them. Can you guys see this? You want me to let me wheel it around a little bit? They have a little presentation for you. Can you show this?
Yeah. I have readers already.
Ladies, come on up.
There we go.
Miss Jenny, if you could hit the down arrow on that.
It's hot here.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's just not able to keep up at the moment, but it hopefully will kick in. All right.
All right, good evening. Ms. Jenny already introduced us, but I am Kristen Gilmer, and tonight I just wanted to share a little bit about what we have experienced in the 2nd and 3rd grade classrooms. And so we have a couple of things that our teachers have been focusing on this year, and one of them is to enrich and reteach through targeted small group instruction. So, small group instruction, what is it? It's teaching students according to their individual needs. It's using database instruction, individualized instruction, and scaffolding. So some effective small group instruction is teaching targeted small groups, using flexible grouping, aligning instructional materials with students' abilities, tailoring that instruction to meet the individual and specific needs of the students, and using assessment data to plan instruction and group students.
So in our PLCs, our teachers are already spending a lot of time looking at assessment data, their grade level data, each week to help them figure out which standards need to be retaught and retested. We really encourage our teachers this year to also, just in addition to that, to kind of hone in on the NWEA data as well. This is one of the reports that's offered with through NWEA. This is the class breakdown reports. And our teachers rely on this to help them group their students, but also it just kind of provides like an academic makeup of their class to help them figure out which students need remediation and which students need enrichment. So as you can see here, like this group of students here, they're already on level, but these students down here, they would know just from this report, these kids need a little bit of remediation and these need some enrichment.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but where this blacked out, those are student names so that they know which students.
That's correct, yes.
And then-
Okay.
So they know each individual student where they lie.
I
Okay.
didn't get that, good.
This is my favorite report, and one that our teachers have really fallen in love with this year. This is the learning continuum. And the cool thing about this is it is standard specific, so the teachers can log right into this and pull up whatever standard it is that they're focused on throughout the week. And it lists specific skills that teachers can work on for those students that are already on grade level, and then for those students who need to catch up, and again, for those students who are ready for a little bit of a challenge. This is what I would like for you to see when you walk into one of our second and third grade classrooms. Our teachers have really been spending a lot of time working on that small group instruction, that differentiated piece. So this is a sample of what a small group lesson plan may look like. I think the standard for this is identifying main idea of a multi-paragraph text. So on the first day, that's what we would expect our students to do by the end of the year. On the first day of instruction, you can see for our students that are already on grade level, the teachers would be looking at a single paragraph with their students and having them identify main idea and supporting details. But for our students who aren't quite there yet, they can go ahead and have a little bit of discussion about what a main idea is, and then what supporting details are, and then they can complete a sort. And then for our higher kids, they can go ahead and jump right into a text that has multiple paragraphs.
Okay, and our second focus this year with second and third grade has been writing instruction. And you can see some of our students, these are some Oak Grove lower third graders, and they are working on including dialogue in their narrative writing, and they're working with peers. That's an important piece for them to be able to edit, read together, and come up with solutions and additions to their writing. One thing that our teachers have been doing is looking at the standards and how they build each year, okay? So this is a vertical progression that MDE provides, and you can look at kindergarten. This is for narrative writing. You use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to narrate a single event or several loosely linked events. And then you can see in first grade, they will count 2 or more events. And in second grade, they need a well-elaborated event or short sequence of events. And then in third grade, you see all the yellows, there's all the things that change. So it's a lot of additional things in third grade, lots of specific things. It's important for our teachers to see what their students know coming in, what they've been taught, and how they can build and develop and add on to that. Okay, and another thing we've really been working on with the writing is narrative writing seems to always be difficult for teachers, for us to jump into that. But the texts that they love to read their students are narratives. And so to tie that in with the love of those books, to use what they're already reading as a model for how to write, and to exhaust that text, to use that text and find all the things that they can, all the teaching tools and elements from that text before they move on, and annotate, let the kids make lots of notes. Some of our teachers have been reading The Writing Thief, and this is a quote from that. If it communicates a message clearly, it can be a mentor text.
One of the things that one of the types of writing, the modes of writing our teachers have spent a lot of time working on this year is that narrative piece. And so, and we've had a lot of discussion just about mentor text and the purpose of choosing quality mentor text. So I brought a book, I'm not going to read it to you, but it is, it's from Chrysanthemum. And if you have not read this book, it is a precious story about a little mouse who was just so excited to go to school. But on the very first day of school, she was teased and picked on about her name, her long and flowery name. But just to give you an example of what a writing lesson would look like using that mentor text, we went ahead and added just an excerpt from the text. It says, "The day she was born was the happiest day of her parents' lives. She's perfect," said her mother. "Absolutely," said her father. And she was absolutely perfect. So just from this snippet, our teachers can teach our kids transitional words and phrases, dialogue, character traits, story elements. There's so much they can get just from this little piece. And then after those kids have exhausted that piece of the text, we would have the teacher model a writing on her own. So this is an example of just what a teacher might write as she's modeling that writing to our students. So this one says, "The day he broke the school swimming record was the best day in his coach's lives. He's so fast," said Coach Sarah. "Definitely," said Coach Bob. And he was the fastest swimmer ever. And you can see too, the teacher used those transitional phrases, and she used the story elements and dialogue and things in her writing as well. So typically the next step in the writing process would be to have our students create their own writing, mimicking the style and the tone of the author, but this is where we're going to have y'all do this.
I hear that you like activities. Y'all feel free to work with a partner and see if you, yes, y'all can share. And see if you can mimic this text.
Jody, is there a writing component to the third grade game?
Yes. There's a writing test, and it can actually, okay, go. Yes, they take the writing test.
Don't make him that. He has to do it too.
Instruction.
So what you're gonna do is, this was the passage that came from the story. And so you're just going to try to mimic that passage using different words, maybe a different scenario, kind of like was the example here. You can see where they use some of the similarities, the day she was born, the day he wrote. So you're just kind of mimic that kind of flow by changing some words and making the scenario or setting. We'll give you.
And you get to choose your topic.
Yes.
But we use that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's your
It has to
guide.
be- And so we're doing a third column is what we're doing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we do with our. Would anybody else like a turn? We have plenty of papers and paper.
Be prepared, they might call upon you to
Yes.
read your text.
They're taking it really serious. Good students. Yes. One more minute. Sorry, fast. Okay, I'm gonna call time. Would anybody like to share theirs? We have a couple of volunteers. Ms. Hensley, I know that you.
All right, so I said the day he accepted Jesus was the best day in his parents' lives. He has made a wonderful choice, in quotes, said Dad. I am so proud, said Mom, and they were. It was the best day ever.
Yes, she used dialogue. Good. Anyone else?
Like I was the first one.
Thank
I said the night the cutest rabbit was born was the most amazing of her 13 or 14 brothers and sisters. I didn't know what to say after that.
That's a great start.
We hear a lot of questions.
Any second, third grade?
You got caught up in those details.
Thank you for
One of the most
participating.
amazing
But do you see how having a mentor text helps children know, have a starting point of where they want to be fixed so they can begin writing? And that's the purpose of this activity. Because if you ask a student to write about something and they sit there and they don't know, that they can use a mentor text in order to guide them.
And then that teacher model is key, that example too.
Right.
So you know what the next one is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I have, as in the past, the goals, and I'm giving you second and third grade. And it not only has ELA, but it has math. Okay, it has math, social studies, and science, so that you can kind of take a look at that progression. If you ever have any questions, just contact us in the Office of Academic Education. We'd be happy to answer. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. We love an activity. She does.
Well, Emerson played with blocks on the very first one. Like I've been looking for an activity every day.
So before, I don't know if you're going to say it or not, you're welcome to say it, but before you leave, I want to finish up my superintendent's report and saying that we've gotten our first round of our third grade literacy-based promotion act. I get tongue-tied sometimes. Whenever we get our first round, we don't ever get scores, but we do get whether a student passes or met or did not meet the expectation. The expectations for students to score level 3. So before COVID, in 2019, our students took that test, and during that time, we had 84.1% of our kids pass the third grade reading gate the first time. They get to take it over. We do some remediation. We get to take it over, and there's very few kids that are held back. But we always measure that first time with all students. Every student who has an IEP, every student in the third grade will take this test. And so 84.1% in 2019 pre-COVID, pre-pandemic. 2020, we did not test because of the pandemic. Last year, we knew that our scores in whichever one across the state dropped. We went from 84.1 to a 77.3. Well, due in large part for these three ladies back here and our teachers, this year with our first round of our scores, we had 83.9%. And so we're 0.2 of a percentage point away from pre-pandemic score. And that is phenomenal. Would not have, I'm just going to be, not that I did not believe in what our teachers were doing, not that I did not believe that they were working their rear ends off day to day. I just felt like it was going to take us, longer to kind of get back out of that hole from the learning loss. This is very good signs. And I've said this to our principals that, and to others, that the two groups that were affected the most by our pandemic and was our younger kids, being out. These students who are in the third grade now had a kindergarten year in 2019. They spent 3/4 of a year in 2020. Last year, and even this year, I mean, what you got to understand is we're 0.2 of a percentage point away from being back pre-pandemic. With all the things that we had to do, the beginning of the year, we had 9 schools shut down. We had over half our students either quarantined or at home because the school was shut down. And so our teachers have just done a phenomenal job. Our faculty have done a phenomenal job to get us back to where we were pre-pandemic. So I just wanted to say that in front of these ladies because they're a huge, what you saw today is what they're doing with those teachers and the PLCs, digging deep into the data, looking at where students' deficiencies are. What can we do differently? How can we help those high flyers? How can we help the ones that are struggling? And so my hat's off to them. It's just, and we're hoping it's a good sign to come for our other data that's coming in that we'll see. So thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'd like to give you an update on our pre-K. We had our pre-K enrollment. Just remember that we have 260 pre-K slots in our district. We had 344 applicants for our pre-K. That means that we still have 84 students on the waiting list. I mean, to do that. And so we're if we could do it all, we could do it all. Right now, we got 260, and it just speaks to the volumes of our community who know the quality of food they're going to give them this kids to our pre-K program. Graduation is our next. We go from one end pre-K to graduation on the other end. Graduation will be, for Summerall High School will be Thursday, May the 19th at 7 p.m. Purvis High School will be Friday, May the 20th at 7 p.m. Lumberton High School will be Saturday morning, 10 a.m. On May the 21st, Saturday morning. And then Oak Grove High School will be Saturday night, May 21st at 7 p.m. All the graduations will be held on the football fields again, as we did last year. It worked out very well. Very positive from the communities about having it in there on their football fields. We have been pressure spraying and getting things ready so that we can have a nice stadium. And all we have to do now is, I told our administrators the other day, nobody dances between now, because we don't want any rain coming. Nobody dances. And then now in graduation. So also like just, you approved earlier some of our JRTC reverse bid options. We kind of had to pivot a little bit with our JRTC program. We feel like it's going to work out better. We're going to get our instructors out on the campuses to be a part of the campus instead of having all our students come to the Career and Technical Ed Center here in Purvis. So we'll save a lot of travel time for our students, and we will have then we'll be on the bus as much. Also like to mention our summer school program. It'll be from May 31st through June 16th. Any parent out there that's listening that's got students who are still struggling, need to get work made up, this and the other, please contact your schools to sign up for your for the summer school. Very excited to mention our 21st century grant for our elementary 21st century grant. Please correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to have Camp Invention and Picture Perfect STEM from June the 6th to the 16th at what locations again?
It'll be in Purvis and Oak Grove and Summerall.
Okay. So the Lumberton kids will be able to come to Purvis.
And Maxwell.
Be able to come to Purvis to participate in that 21st century grant, Camp Invention and Picture Perfect STEM. And that Picture Perfect STEM is a combination of language arts skills that we saw here and STEM activities. It's a pretty neat little crosswalk between us. We are actually had partnered with USM to offer a residency program for students in elementary education. This is senior students at University of Southern Mississippi, senior students residency program. They'll spend 3 full days, 2 half days teaching side by side for a full year with a teacher, one of our master teachers. And so they're still a student, but they'll spend a majority of time they'll be able to see from beginning to end. Part of the problem with our student teaching program is that they don't ever see the beginning or the end of school. They don't see the opening and the close. They just see all the middle, you know, and the middle's the easy part. The opening and close sometimes are some of the harder parts. And so, so we're excited about that program. We've got 4 applicants for that to bring in to work side by side with some of our master teachers, and hopefully we can generate some new teachers that way. Last I have is I want to publicly thank our legislators. We had legislators voted largest pay raise for our teachers. Sorry, it's big. It really is. Sorry, they deserve it. The data proves it. It worked. They deserve it. And I just want to publicly thank, especially our local legislators who helped push through the pay raise for the teachers. That not only the teachers but our teacher assistants. Well deserved. So.
Amen.
On the agenda to set our next regular meeting for Monday, June 13th, in this board room at 6 p.m. Check your calendars. You won't?
I will.
It's like, how you gonna miss it?
Last week again. I'll be.
Motion is Jeremy, can you?
Hey, I already look. I mean, don't come at me. I'm ready.
Everybody, who was it?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Also move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes. So, lastly, we have obviously the consent agenda, and we did have some changes. We just moved some stuff to others. So, other than those changes, Ms. Hemscherling, do you have anything else to add?
No questions?
Ms. Pierce?
I'm good.
Mr. Braswell?
Nothing, sir.
And now Mr. LaFleur. So, at this time, entertain motions to accept the consent agenda with those changes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Okay. So moving to the end, we have other, and that's where we were going to talk about student handbook, and there were some other things involved in that. That's not printed off here. So I guess we need a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we discuss the dress code, and the new exemption policy separately.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, second for discussion. So we'll start wherever now at this point.
So I will say that the reason we pulled them out is because there was a blanket statement on accepting the handbook. And the item in the handbook that I wanted to not accept would be the discussion on exemptions. So what is being proposed is that we remove exemptions completely, and that no matter what a student, no matter what the grade is at the end of a semester, that a student is required to take the final exams. And I do understand the logic there with, it is possible that a student can finish their entire middle school and high school career without having taken a final exam in said class. But because I have children in the system, I do know that it definitely helps with attendance, as mine almost always have perfect attendance so that they can be exempt. And most children that are moving on to a college situation are taking classes that are going to require some major exams, such as AP exams. Obviously, just like we saw the students here, all these kids are taking different state tests, and it seems to me that they're tested quite extensively throughout their career. So I like the idea of keeping exemptions in as motivation for not only good grades, but also good attendance. So that's what I would like to propose.
Can I ask what the reasoning was? And I think you said the principals had asked for this.
Yeah, it was a discussion we had in our handbook meeting, of the purpose of the exemptions, was, to help promote good attendance. What we've seen is that it helps promote good attendance with a certain subset of our population of students, not all of our students. Those students who, do not take, or do not take it, or having to take those tests. Does that make sense? And so the one thing that, I can tell you that I get approached with parents, especially the parents who have had kids that go off to college, was that they don't, sometimes I get approached and say that they don't feel like their children have taken or weren't prepared for college. And so when I talk to them.
I will second that. As a
Okay.
parent of one who went into college.
When I talk to them about why were they not prepared for college, and we get down to, they said they've never had to take because they've been in school, they've never had to take a comprehensive final to be able to study for that subject area in a way that they prepare them to take a midterm or a final in college. So that has been something that I run into quite often. So
In today's society, we always have to blame somebody else. So I heard what you said. I do think that you need to say it in the form of a motion.
What, does anybody else want to discuss before I make an official motion?
What
so
I
you
have,
made the motion.
I made a motion second to bring it up.
I have a question. I have a question and continue the discussion. Would exemption from exams in the 12th grade only be a decent compromise? I don't know.
That would be up to the board. I mean, it's
Yeah, I know that.
policy, so I mean, I think if we
I know of a school district that does just that.
just,
When I was in
Only-
school, like, that was the only time when you were graduating and you had your attendance stuff and your grades, then you didn't have to take it. But before then, you took every exam. My thinking is that would teach the kids, there is a final, there is a final, there's a final. But in their senior year, after all their work, it would be spent.
I don't know how to get them to post it.
I just feedback.
Is this something that's just really come up recently, that you've been hearing? Is it a trickle down effect from COVID as well? I mean,
This is the first time we brought it to the board.
I know, but somebody's
But
approached you.
this has been, when I was a principal at my high school, I've talked to parents who had children who went off and went to school, university setting especially. That was mainly concern.
May I ask, and I don't know if you have it directly in front of you, but what is the minimum requirement that one has to reach in order to be exempt? Is it across the board the same from the time you enter the 6th grade through the 12th grade? Or does it change depending on the course? So perhaps there's even a discussion to be had on raising that line of rigor. Again, I think when children have things to shoot for, it's helpful. And so if you're shooting for a certain grade, if you are shooting for a certain attendance, then surely that's always helpful. So I wonder if it's more a question of if parents are saying that students are not prepared for college, then somewhere along the line, they're missing the rigor, is what I'm hearing from that. And
And I'd also argue that if they're shooting for just that exemption, are they shooting to actually learn, or are they just shooting for the exemption to comply, to get the grade and be there during the day? That should be our goal, in my opinion, of education, to measure learning, not just compliance. So, I mean, that would fall into that discussion.
I think that's a very legitimate point.
Are they coming just to school just for the exemption, to get out one day earlier or 2 days earlier at the end of the year?
I feel like it's gotten muddy now.
Yeah.
Muddy the water here.
The president is waiting for
I'm listening, I'm thinking.
I would like to make a motion at this point that, that exemptions not be taken off the board. at this point. That perhaps it would be something that could be considered again, and perhaps we would look at different parameters on it, but that for this year's handbook, that exemption's not be removed. Does that work as a motion?
It was a lot of words. I
I'm
don't know if
sorry.
Ms. Lamb wants to write all that.
That the exemptions not be removed for the 22-23 school year.
Current exemption policy will stand.
Yeah, that works too.
All right, so we have a motion for that. She amended her motion. I feel like we need a second for that
Second.
change. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
One opposed,
Opposed.
two opposed, 3-2.
Okay.
All right. So what else do we need to talk about in?
Address code.
I
wanted to pull them apart because I wanted to let dress code stand, but I guess we will need to move that.
Address code.
We're voting the rest of the,
Do you want?
So I need to make a motion to accept all other handbook changes as noted.
Okay.
second.
So that's the motion. And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Was there anything else in that we needed to talk about? Okay, so at this time, I think that we need to consider executive session for the following reasons. We have a student matter, a discipline appeal, we have some personnel matters, a couple of resignations there. So yes, three separate reasons for executive session we need to consider.
Make a motion to consider executive session for the matters proceeding.
Okay?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes. So now I need a motion to enter executive session.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are in executive session. One of the red line, I'm afraid I failed.